I'm sure you've tried to quit your addiction a number of times, maybe many times, and maybe you've learnt a lot of things and you've thrown yourself into whatever method wholeheartedly, but in the end still relapsed and become increasingly demoralized and maybe increasingly kind of doubtful as to whether you'll ever be able to stably quit your addiction and be happy without your addiction. I've helped many people over the last 15 years specializing in addiction recovery. And what I'd like to do in this video is summarize the 3 key stages that are necessary for you to go through in order to get to the root of your addiction and in order to progress through a transformation process where you don't need your addiction anymore. It becomes literally obsolete and you don't get cravings anymore. So let's start with where you are today. So there's 2 parts to this. One part is the root of why the addiction is there in the first place. That's what's driving the addiction. That's what started the addiction. It's what's driving the addiction to continue. And that's ultimately what causes relapse. This is the root of addiction. And then the other part is the turmoil and confusion caused by the addiction itself. So there's like 2 layers there. So yes, we need to get to the root of your addiction, but we also need to understand what the turmoil is that is also adding another load and preventing you from being able to end your addiction without struggle. So let's talk about this layer first, what your addiction is creating. So basically, we know that you're getting cravings and those cravings are coming subconsciously. Okay, so that's your subconscious mind generating the cravings. But on top of that, we know that your conscious mind is fighting those cravings, like not wanting to have your addiction. So that's causing this inner conflict. So that's one level of stress and tension. Now, in conjunction or in reaction to that, there's often a lot of guilt about having your addiction, about not being able to control your addiction with your conscious mind. There's often a feeling of hopelessness or lack of confidence that you actually can end your addiction. And this undermines your ability to step forward and take the risk again to try to quit your addiction. And so, and this just, this hopelessness and this conflict, actually what that does, it plugs into the root of your addiction and causes the subconscious to produce more cravings. And because your subconscious is using the addiction to numb any emotional pain, any inner conflict. And so this inner conflict, the conflict that is going on between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, that becomes a reason why the subconscious produces cravings and brings on the addiction to give you a break from that. So that's that layer. And then you've got the root of your addiction. So we'll talk about the root of your addiction in the next section. But the first key stage that in order for you to progress on is acceptance. Now, I don't mean accepting that your addiction is here forever or accepting that your addiction is good. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about acceptance of the fact that right now you have this pattern of addiction in your mind on a daily basis, this reaction of an addiction. And this has been there for some time. So one of the reason why I say acceptance is very important is because it deals with this top layer, the layer of conflict caused by you having the addiction. Remember I said that top layer of turmoil is partly the conflict between the conscious mind and the subconscious. So this acceptance is about helping the conscious mind to reduce the conflict. So it's really the conscious mind that accepts that for right now we have an addiction. Now, I know that's not easy to do, to accept that there that there's something going on that I desperately want to get rid of because it's ruining my life. I know it's hard to approach this idea of acceptance. So it's not that we're saying that the addiction is going to be there forever, but what it is doing is saying, for right now, I have an addiction and I need to give myself some space, some understanding, so that I can go about putting in place what I need to put in place without the daily conflict, right? You need to get to the second stage, we need to create some space. In fact, some safety, a safe space. Look, your subconscious is just trying to help you by numbing out whatever pain and suffering that you're occurring, or trying to give you pleasure. I've talked about this in other videos, the fight or flight system and the reward system. It's just trying to help you, and it's stronger than the conscious mind. So it's no good trying to fight it with willpower, which is a conscious mind activity, okay? You need to stop that for now. Hasn't worked in the past, right? It hasn't gotten rid of cravings, and it's also led to relapse, okay? Because doesn't address, willpower does not address the root of addiction. So you have to stop that for now, right? You have to call a truce between the conscious and subconscious and create some space. Now, so what this means is acceptance. It's taking a helicopter view. It's looking and saying, okay, for right now, there is addiction occurring. It's like there are weeds in the garden. For right now, there are weeds in the garden, okay? So we're not going to create this layer of turmoil that we've continued to do, because we want the dust to settle, and we want to be able to see through to the depths. So acceptance is the first thing. So you need to, it's an act of self-love to accept. It's an act of compassion. It's like, imagine that, an animal or a person has been hurt, and you can't fix that hurt, but you can give them some compassion. You can create a safe space of care and love while they're going through a healing process. You can keep the space absent of conflict and peaceful. That's what we need here. So that's the first phase. Now, you'll have to keep working at this. It won't happen automatically on day one. You have to keep working at it. Now, how do you keep working at it? Every time you start to fight your addiction, you just say, look, okay, I'm not going to fight. Just for today, I'm not going to fight. All right, because I'm playing the longer game. Now, the second stage that needs to occur here is awareness. Now, awareness of the deeper root of what's causing your addiction. Now, what I'm talking about there is the deeper pain and suffering in your life that you're trying to escape from, right? So that could be coming from present circumstances in your life, or it could also be coming from past trauma that hasn't healed and that keeps on getting touched by the present circumstances and causing you to react. So it could be causing fear. It could be causing a feeling of hopelessness, a feeling of maybe that you're not good enough or stupid, or it could be just a lack of confidence that anything that you do is going to be successful. Because if you've been bashed down or trodden down, or life circumstances have constantly knocked you down, you develop a story about the future that this is just going to keep on repeating. And this is an uncomfortable feeling. We don't like to feel it. So the subconscious buries it in order so that we can get on with our daily functions. But unfortunately, burying it or repressing those memories, if we're talking about the past, isn't going to solve it. So we need to open up and increase our awareness. Now, this isn't necessarily comfortable. If it would have been easy, then it would have already happened. So each day, you need to put it away, just put aside some time where you just sit with yourself and you allow yourself to become aware of how you feel. You allow yourself to be aware of what you're thinking. You allow yourself to remember past trauma. Don't do it all at once. Just allow it to happen naturally. Don't go digging. Just sit and be quiet and watch your mind first. Watch what's occurring. Watch the thoughts. Don't get involved. Watch the sensations. Don't get involved. Don't try and fix or change anything. Just be present. Okay? Just be aware of what's occurring. Now, when you open up this space of awareness, what will occur is unresolved memories do come to the surface, but they'll come gradually in the order that they are able to be resolved. Now, resolved means that you feel safe in the safe space of acceptance that you've allowed, and just by observing, and not just observing your internal world, but the external world too, so that you know that you're safe in this room while you're having these memories and experiences. You're safe while these are coming into your awareness, and your whole system, including your subconscious and your conscious, are experiencing this emotional, uncomfortable memories or sensations or fears or guilt or shame or feelings of lack of confidence or hopelessness or doubt, self-doubt. All of that's present, but you just don't get involved. Stay open and aware. So awareness requires a level of openness, and you need to develop that. Now, what I mean by openness is where you're able to observe without getting involved, without getting tumbled down the rabbit hole when a certain memory or thought or belief or story about the future occurs. Try and stay open. Try and stay the witness of what's occurring, and do this every day. In my program, we actually have a very detailed coaching process of how this occurs and the stages of, and the detailed understanding of developing this skill. It's very, very powerful. Even 10 minutes a day can have an enormous impact on your ability to get to the bottom of your addiction, to get to the root of it. Now, and then what ends up happening through this awareness is you start to become aware that no matter what's occurring in your body or your mind, that you, as the one who is aware, is already and always okay. You as awareness, no matter what fear, no matter what painful memory, or no matter what uncomfortable future story that's created in your mind, you as the one who is aware is always stable and present. It's the phenomena of memory and imagination and thought that's changing all the time. And of course, the external sounds, sights, all of that's changing as well. But you're constant, you're stable as the one who is aware. And in that stability, right, this is an even deeper level of safety. You see how the first stage of acceptance opens you up to being able to create this situation where you can be aware, and that enables you to even have a deeper stability, a deeper okayness as the stable, safe one who is aware, right? And as you hold that space, all of the unresolved turmoil starts to settle. There's a level of stillness that occurs gradually. Now, you're keeping your mind, your awareness very open. You're not getting caught in any particular set of phenomena. This is very important because it's in this overall awareness that the stillness occurs, because your mind can't focus on any one thing. It doesn't get involved. It's just open, aware, present. And in that stillness, there's a peace that arises, and you realize after a while that this peace is also one and the same as your awareness. And it is also, all of this is one and the same as you, that you are inherently at peace. You are inherently ever present, interconnected with everything, because awareness is not separate from anything. And you are safe and stable as awareness. So as you open up and are able to hold this openness while the ups and downs of the phenomena resolving occurs, you go through the process of things resolving, everything starting to come into alignment with the truth of this deeper state, which is a state that's deeper than the pain, it's deeper than the turmoil. So this can take some time, some weeks, some months, longer even. It can even take some time to develop the ability to be open. Often my clients say, oh, I keep getting distracted. What they mean by that is they keep getting involved, sucked into a rabbit hole of past memory or whatever. But more and more you become open and aware, and you start to experience this peace, and it starts to infiltrate your life. And there becomes a natural and true and deep acceptance that you're okay, and that everything that's occurring with your addiction and your life is temporary. Because what is permanent is this ever-present awareness, which comes with this stillness, this peace, this contentment. You see, and this you start to realize is what you really, really want. It's what your subconscious wants. It's what your conscious mind wants. This is the reason why your subconscious has been trying to use the addiction as a very poor substitute for this deeper inner state. So you realize that you already have the solution within you. You already are the solution. And you start to let go. Well, things just start being let go. The subconscious lets go of addiction. Things start to change. And that is when you know that you're ready for stage 3. And stage 3 is where you start to bring this state directly into the picture when you're having cravings for your addiction. Okay, now that doesn't mean that every time you have a craving, once you move into stage 3, that you try to stop your addiction. You don't try to stop your addiction. I know that sounds contradictory because your addiction will stop, and therefore we are doing something to stop that, but we're not going to try and in the sense of conflict consciously with the subconscious. What we're going to do is bring awareness, okay? So the first thing is you start bringing awareness with the cravings that are the easiest for you to tackle. Like, so that's not going to be the times when you absolutely always have to have your addiction, all right? So these are going to be the less emotionally charged times. They're going to be the times when you could kind of have it or not have it. So you start bringing your awareness to the cravings that are easy. And instead of immediately just having your addiction, you just open up and become aware of what the phenomena of the craving is. Now, I don't have time to go into all the detail of that, but the craving is not just one thing. Right? It involves sensations in the body. It can involve emotions like fear and anxiety. It can involve this sense of urgency, this fight or flight urgency. It can involve thoughts. It can involve future stories. If I don't have this, my addiction now, it's only going to get worse, worse, worse. Or in the past, every time I didn't have my addiction, it got worse. You just don't get involved. Remember the state that you were able to establish in stage 2. And your goal is to be able to establish that state or be open and allow that state to arise in stage 3. That is when your cravings for your addiction are occurring. So you stay with the easy ones until you're able to easily remain open without taking any action, not getting involved in the cravings, just observing the phenomena coming and going, not trying to change it. Okay, and also not hyper-focusing on the phenomena as well, because there's also, what's going on around you in the room or wherever you are. Okay, so once you've mastered the easy cravings, then you move on to the moderate cravings and then eventually the more challenging cravings and situations in your life. I've got one client who always smokes with his wife. That's very challenging for him. Got another client who, when there's any threat like domestic violence, that it'll bring on the very strong urge to have a drink, and that's very understandable. So it's a matter of your awareness becoming strong enough to be able to turn on when you have these moderate and challenging cravings. Now, eventually, your level of skill increases and you get to the point where you can be with whatever's occurring. And because you're accessing this deeper state of okayness, this deeper peace, it's quite bizarre that, I've had one client say to me, even though they're having all of this kind of traumatic turmoil, underneath that, they knew that they were okay. So that's this deep level of awareness. And that enables you to stay with the open practice. Okay, so these are the 3 key stages that you need to develop and go through, starting with acceptance of your current situation, which is really an act of self-love, right? Loving and understanding and giving yourself some grace. Then developing awareness that actually results in a deep level, accessing a deeper level of what you are, which inherently brings on what you're looking for, this deeper okayness, this deeper state of contentment and peace. And that enables you to be able to then be in that state while you experiment with your cravings. So that's the 3rd stage, the experimental phase, with the easy, the moderate, and the difficult cravings. Of course, this is just a short overview summary of how to go through this. Quite honestly, just having this information, look, for the very rare person who's already probably well along the path of developing these skills, this may be enough for you. But from my experience with literally hundreds and hundreds of clients, it's the clients that get the coaching, that come to the weekly group coaching where I can check in, where I can see what's happening, and I can really create some guidance, some assurance, some confidence that, and really point out what's going well and also fine tune where things need to be adjusted so that you stay the course, right? So that you don't fall victim to that top layer of confusion and turmoil that the addiction has kind of, in a sense, conditioned you to experience as normal, and you start to believe that that's really you and you don't have any confidence that you can do this. So you take the confidence from someone like me who has seen this process, gone through it personally, and shepherded many, many people through that. And of course, you want the detailed understanding of how to develop this open, aware practice and how to go through the different stages of bringing the addiction to a close through the experimental phase. But so if that's you, if you want more of that, there is a link to my masterclass in the description there, and that will lead you through to being able to have access and connecting with me. If you're not ready for that or don't want that, I hope that you get some more value out of this and other videos in the future. So anyway, bye for now, and best of luck.